If your eval labels are noisy, every quality dashboard becomes fiction. Data quality is the foundation of AI assurance. This AiQualtest episode gives product, engineering, risk, and quality teams a practical, vendor-neutral playbook for data quality for AI evals in 2026. Use a simple operating loop: check, clean, agree, and trust. That loop keeps conversations concrete when stakeholders disagree about quality or risk. Why this matters: enterprises make release decisions on eval scores. Contaminated, ambiguous, or duplicated data creates false greens and false reds. Investing in eval data quality pays back in trustworthy gates and fewer production surprises. Enterprises shipping AI into banking, insurance, healthcare, and digital operations cannot rely on hallway demos. Buyers, auditors, and internal second-line risk partners ask for repeatable methods, version artifacts, and clear ownership. If you cannot explain how you tested and what evidence you keep, you do not have AI quality, you have optimism. Core concepts come next. Do not memorize jargon, operationalize each idea into cases, metrics, and gates. Concept 1: Schema validity. Enforce required fields, types, and enums on every eval row. Broken rows skew aggregates. In practice, treat this as a measurable property, define what good looks like, attach evidence, and track it across model, prompt, data, and tooling changes. Concept 2: Label agreement. Measure inter-rater agreement on subjective tasks. Low agreement means rewrite the rubric. In practice, treat this as a measurable property, define what good looks like, attach evidence, and track it across model, prompt, data, and tooling changes. Concept 3: Deduplication. Remove near duplicates that inflate scores. Diversity beats volume. In practice, treat this as a measurable property, define what good looks like, attach evidence, and track it across model, prompt, data, and tooling changes. Concept 4: Leakage scans. Detect overlap with training or prompt examples. Leakage flatters models unfairly. In practice, treat this as a measurable property, define what good looks like, attach evidence, and track it across model, prompt, data, and tooling changes. Concept 5: Freshness SLAs. Track age of cases versus product reality. Stale evals miss new failure modes. In practice, treat this as a measurable property, define what good looks like, attach evidence, and track it across model, prompt, data, and tooling changes. Concept 6: Ownership. Assign data stewards for each pack. Orphan datasets rot quietly. In practice, treat this as a measurable property, define what good looks like, attach evidence, and track it across model, prompt, data, and tooling changes. Here is a real-world pattern. Setting: Payments company evaluating a dispute resolution assistant for cardholders. Scores jumped after a dataset update, but QA found duplicated cases and conflicting labels on chargeback reasons. Cleaning and relabeling with a clearer rubric dropped scores and revealed a real retrieval bug. The fix shipped with a data quality checklist attached to every future pack. Audit asked for and received agreement metrics and steward names. Notice the pattern: define scope, run controlled tests, capture evidence, decide with named owners, and feed failures back into the next cycle. That is how AI quality becomes a system property, not a slide. Common mistakes slow mature programs. Mistake 1: Shipping eval dashboards without schema or duplicate checks. Teams that skip this create silent risk that surfaces in production or audits. Mistake 2: Using single annotator labels for highly subjective tasks. Teams that skip this create silent risk that surfaces in production or audits. Mistake 3: Ignoring train/eval overlap scans. Teams that skip this create silent risk that surfaces in production or audits. Mistake 4: Leaving datasets without named owners. Teams that skip this create silent risk that surfaces in production or audits. The antidote is discipline: small goal sets, explicit thresholds, change control, and monitoring that connects production incidents back to evaluation suites. Key takeaways for your team. Takeaway 1: Trustworthy scores require trustworthy labels. Takeaway 2: Measure agreement and fix rubrics when it is low. Takeaway 3: Scan for duplicates and leakage. Takeaway 4: Assign stewards and freshness SLAs. Write these into your team wiki and release checklist so they survive staffing changes. Your next steps this week: run a schema, duplicate, and leakage scan on your primary eval pack this week. Then, compute inter-rater agreement on a 50 case sample and refine the rubric if needed. Keep the artifacts, prompts, datasets, scores, approvals so you can defend the decision later. Where this fits the AiQualtest method, learn the foundations with AiVELabs, practice with hands-on cases, and validate with governed evaluation evidence. Visit aiqualtest.com and learn.aiqualtest.com. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for weekly AI quality, evaluation, and governance episodes. Additional depth for practitioners: treat data quality for AI evals as a controlled experiment. Version the inputs, freeze the environment where possible, record who approved exceptions, and rerun after every material change, model upgrade, prompt edit, retrieval index refresh, or tool permission change. Pair quality metrics with latency, cost, and safety signals so trade-offs are visible to product owners. When results regress, open an incident-style review even if the feature still looks fine in a demo. Governed teams prefer boring, evidence-backed releases over surprising wins that cannot be reproduced.